Welcome to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. When you hear the word chronically, do you automatically associate it with chronic disease? We all do. It's been programmed right into us. But what if we flip that whole ideas on its head? Let's discover how we can create chronic health in our bodies, our minds, our finances, our relationships, and of course, in our lives. Let's jump right on in. I'm Andy, and joining me is my life partner in all things, Minna.
Well, I mean, I read books that you don't read, so maybe not all things. But
Okay, most things, most things.
so I've been lately been reading a book called Feel Good Productivity,
Okay.
and it's written by the author is Ali Abdel.
Mm-hmm.
And in one of the chapters, he mentioned a study done by Dr. Stuart Brown. It is called the psychology of play, and how it refers to productivity is that if you treat your work as if you're playing, it makes you more productive. It makes your outcome better, and your nose is itchy.
Excuse me. Someone's talking about me.
So, I mean, what do you think of that? Do you feel like when you treat your work like play, that you do better work?
I think so. Because it's interesting because we had
Now my nose is itchy.
we had a manifestation coach, and she was talking about how people hate their work, right? And she said it was a really high percentage, like 78% or something really high. And I think for us, the thing for me is like I enjoy what I do. I find it playful. I always find the funny spins into it. So yeah, I can totally relate how doing more fun things to make your work fun is definitely more enjoyable and definitely more productive for me anyway.
Yeah. So in the psychology of play, he mentions that depending on what type of play personality you are,
Mhm.
you can do different things to make your work more enjoyable, so that you can be better at it. You can be more productive at it. So one of the eight play personalities that he says is the collector.
Okay.
This is collector is someone that loves to gather and organize. So I see that as like a stamp collector kind of thing.
Hmm.
So this would be someone that is like collecting data or statistics. But when you're a collector, if you do something that is kind of like playing for work, then it makes life interesting, because otherwise you're just looking at a bunch of data.
Mm.
But if you treat it like a game, like, hey, how can I make this look this way? How can I chart this so that it looks this way? Turn it into a game, so make it a little more interesting.
That's sort of cool. That's sort of cool. I'm gonna try to figure which one I am. The
Well,
next
I know
one,
you're not the collector.
the next one, you have the competitor. That one sounds intriguing. What's all that about?
Competitor might be you. It's a person that likes the games and the sports. You know, the people that likes to play games. The people who that like the role playing game people. So those people like to turn everything into a game,
Mhm.
or turn it into some kind of sport, so that they're more competitive. They have the wins and loses.
Mhm.
So everything is a game to them. So when a competitor, when you turn it into a game, they do better at the work.
Oh, okay. The explorer. What's that all about?
The explorer is kind of like the trailblazer kind of thing. You
Okay.
know how people go and wander, they go discover new places. So the explorer would be something I see like a travel writer kind of thing.
Okay.
So when you're exploring, you want to go to see different places, and you have more curiosity about where you're going to see new places, what you're going to see when you go to this unknown place, right? So when you're explorer, turn your work into an exploring job, so that it's more interesting.
So like that'll be perfect for the people that own like travel companies and stuff like that, right? Because they always need to
For
travel
sure.
there so they can promote there, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of the really fun jobs that I've thought but never really looked into it is one of those the scouting people for movies,
Mm.
right? They always find these really nice places, and when you look at it, it doesn't look like much, but when you have it behind a camera, it looks totally different, and I think it's really cool, and that would be a perfect explorer.
That is so true. And the next one, the creator.
I kind of see myself as a creator. I
Okay.
know I'm like an analyst kind of people, but I also like to make a lot of things. I like to make music. I make my own skincare line. I like doing things. I like creating things. So I turn that into my work. I put that into my work also, right? So when I'm in my analyst position, I create reports that actually is interesting. I have to create certain systems and processes that I think is interesting to me. So that's how I turn my play personality into my work.
I think it might be the next one. The next one's the storyteller.
I see that as Christy.
Okay.
I think she's a great storyteller. And, as someone that has active imagination, like people that dance a lot, people that do like ballet, the theater, the game playing people, I think they're really good at storytellers. They're great storytellers, and I think they can do that. If they can put that into your play personality, into your work, I think that's great.
Okay, then the next one's got to be me, right? The Joker.
You're not that funny. Well, now you get it. Joker is like Jerry Seinfeld, right? The people that just makes people laugh and people that enjoy making people laugh. So and that actually can be any type of work. You just have to be working with. I guess you have to be working with people to make people laugh, but it can be any kind of work.
That's true. Yeah, you don't have to be too serious, right?
Not serious at all.
The next one's the director.
Well, that's kind of like my sister. They like to plan things, they organize, they like to lead others. You can see strong personalities in a lot of like managers and directors, and that's why you call this play personality the director. It could be any kind of like project manager or people that like to organize things and lead people into doing things. Maybe a wedding planner or a party planner. That could be one of those too.
Nice. And I can't even pronounce the last one.
Me neither. I copied it.
Okay. Kinesthete?
Kinesthete? I guess it's like an athlete, but it's kinesthete. So these are people that like acrobats, gymnastics, Cirque du Soleil people.
Cirque du Soleil. Yeah. That's what comes to mind.
Runners, the people that really like to do physical activities. You can't put them on a desk job. You're just killing them. It's like firefighting. You cannot just put them at a desk, right? They have to go out and they have to do something. And this is whatever that is. Whatever. Well, I'm going to ask Christy later what that word is.
So this would be like the professional athletes and stuff because they enjoy the athleticism and they choose that as a career.
For sure. So when you know your play personality, you kind of want to incorporate that into your work, or maybe kind of remold your work to match your play personality, so that when you're actually working, it feels more like play, and actually makes you more productive.
That's cool. So one last question. Since you seem to be expert on these play personalities, can you be a combination of the play personalities?
Of course. I am definitely a creator, but I think I'm also a collector.
Oh, okay.
I collect a lot of things like Legos, and I like to build things like Legos. So you can definitely be a combination of those. You can be an explorer, a creator, a storyteller, and a joker all at the same time.
Cool. I love it. We'll be right back after this short commercial. All right, strap in, folks. We're about to take a joyride through the fountain of youth. It's Annie Nam from Chronically Healthy Life. Ever wonder why some folks seem to age like fine wine, while others are more like a molded cheese that's been forgotten in the back of the fridge? It's like they got the energy of a Duracell bunny on Red Bull, while the rest of us are running on fumes. Now, you might think hitting the gym and munching on kale is the ticket to eternal youth, but sometimes it feels more like we're just speeding up the aging process. Picture this, you're on the treadmill, feeling like $1,000,000, and suddenly you look down and realize your knees sound like a bag of popcorn in the microwave. Not exactly the sound of youth, am I right? But fear not, my friends, because here's the kicker. It's not just about the number of candles on your birthday cake. It's all about those sneaky little stem cells playing hide and seek inside your body. At the age of 20, you got more of these bad boys than you can shake a stick at. But fast forward a few decades, and they're scarce as a parking spot in downtown Manhattan. But guess what? We got a secret weapon up our sleeves. Phototherapy patch technology without drugs. That's right, folks. With our stem cell activation patches, you can hit the rewind button on aging faster than you can say reverse aging. So if you're ready to reclaim your youth, look younger, feel stronger, and heal faster than a superhero with a side of espresso, then it's time to hop on board the rejuvenation train. Get your stem cell activation patches now at lifewave.com/chronically healthy life. And let's make aging look like yesterday's news. It's not anti-aging, it's reverse aging, baby. Hey everyone, it's Andy from Chronically Health, and on this week's biohacking episode, I like to talk about making your own Gatorade, or actually nature's Gatorade, the natural Gatorade that's going to replenish your body with electrolytes and boost your gut bacteria, boost your recovery, boost your immune system, just basically boost you up when you need that little pick-me-up. And all you really need to do is you need fresh ginger, about 2-3 inches worth, 1 lemon, some raw apple cider vinegar, some cayenne pepper, some Himalayan salt, and of course, very high quality honey. And we first start off with the ginger, cut it out, and you don't want any of the skin, so make sure you cut the skin off. Once you got all the skin cut off, slice the ginger into slices. And what you want is you want about 2.5 cups of reverse osmosis water. You don't want to be using bottled water here. Pour it into a small saucepan. Dump in your sliced ginger. We're going to steep the ginger. Pop it onto your stove. Bring it up to a boil. And once it boils, let it steep for about 10 minutes. So we had the ginger boiling, and then it's been steeping for about 10 minutes. And what you want to do is you want to, using a sieve, pour out the ginger water. You don't want the ginger in there. And from here, you know, ginger has all these great antiviral, antibacterial properties, is anti-inflammatory, great for boosting your immune system. What we want to do next is we're going to add honey, and this honey here is called the Apis mellifera honey. We actually got this down in Mexico. And where did we get this from? Anyways, it was in one of our Mexico trips. And the beauty of this honey, it's higher in mineral content like calcium, copper, iron, magnesium, manganese, zinc, and phosphate, and of course potassium. And it also has vitamin B, C, D, and E. So this is like super infused with minerals and vitamins, and great anti-inflammatory, great for boosting the immune system. And what you want is you want about half a cup there, and then you want about half a cup of apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is great for gut health, has good prebiotics, probiotics, help you kill some of your bad bacteria, boost your good bacteria. About half a cup there. And this is amazing because you get a little bit of the spiciness coming from the ginger. You got a little bit of sourness coming from the apple cider vinegar. And of course, you got the sweetness coming from the honey. And as nature's Gatorade, of course, we want to have electrolytes. And of course, all the electrolytes coming in the form of the honey. But what we also like to do is we like to add a sprinkle of Himalayan sea salt to boost those electrolytes up. And we have a lemon here. And the lemon is great for boosting vitamin C. Also helps burn fat and gives you just a little bit more of that tartness, which makes this drink so much more yummy and refreshing. Perfect. Let's give that a little stir. And to top this all up, I like to always add just a sprinkle of cayenne pepper. And cayenne pepper is something that really elevates your immune system, kicks it up next level. So this is nature's Gatorade. What I would recommend is you can put this in the fridge as is and refrigerate, put it into a nice jar. Or what I would be doing is I'm going to be putting it in a jar and letting it ferment for another 24 to 36 hours on the counter to give it a little more bubbliness, so it's a little bit more fizzy and refreshing. All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. Today, I would like to introduce you to TINA HAZEN, RN. She is the founder and owner of Think Inside the Boxx Professional Organizing Services. As a published author, speaker, and coach, Tina draws from her personal experience living with anxiety and ADHD to help others overcome challenges and thrive in both their personal and professional lives. Her mission is to empower individuals to create order and balance, guiding them through life's messiness with practical solutions. And today's topic is Life is Messy, how your home environment is affecting your mental health. Welcome, Tina.
Hello, it's so nice to be here. Hi, Christy.
Well, we're very happy that you're here with us today. So, Tina, you started doing this in 2008. You're coming up on 20 years.
I know. I can't believe it. I remember having a dream of, I got to do something different. I didn't want to be a nurse anymore. Once we had moved the second time after we left Texas, I absolutely loved my nursing job. And I knew that where we were going, I wasn't going to be able to find anything just what I wanted. So I had come to a fork in the road, and it was like, do something completely different or go get my master's. And then it's so funny because now that I'm a professional organizer, I realize how close the two are because I help people. And now I'm really, really hopefully helping people with their mental health.
Well, I would think so. You kind of have a nice balance there.
Yeah.
Skills and experience and everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've dealt personally with issues with anxiety and yes. So tell us a little, what's that like to deal with?
Well, I feel like I've probably had it my whole life, the anxiety and the ADHD, but I was not diagnosed until way later after I had had my 3 kids. And this is quite common, especially for women. You just take care of everyone else and you don't really think you have an actual diagnosis. But when we had moved back from Germany, we had lived there 3.5 years. And my sister said, maybe you should go to a therapist or something. And I was like, me. But I was like, okay. So I found this guy and he was so awesome. And I met with him and then he said, I can't prescribe anything, but you may want to see your regular doctor. And so I don't know what year that was, but I did begin a little bit of pharmaceutical help. And then a few years after that, we lived in Texas again. And I went and saw a psychiatrist and had all the testing for ADHD. And that lady was like, you are off the chart, girl. And I was already 38 years old. So it's just like things you learn about yourself as you get older. So now I have these diagnoses. It's just how I handle it now. So.
And have you found that your skills as an organizer have really helped you to deal with these things?
Actually, yes. It's really quite interesting. I realize I find myself giving myself systems. I get up and I do things, first I do this, second I do this, third I do this. And so I don't forget those important things like taking my vitamins or taking my medication or feeding the dog. I do things in a ritualistic way. And when I'm helping people with their homes and their lives, I say that as well. And it does help them. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like the 3,000 lists that I had when we moved.
Exactly. And I mean, life happens. Life is messy, as my book says, but life happens and you've just got to deal with it the best the way that you can.
Exactly. That's true of everybody, everywhere, in every situation.
Exactly.
Not just the extreme.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, that's helpful. So I do know when we moved, I scaled down so much. I literally got rid of over a ton. Oh, you're on the show.
Interesting. Sorry about that. Hey, what's wrong?
And
he never barks, so sorry about that.
And it took me a couple months to calm myself down because I kept feeling like there's got to be more I have to do. And I was just, no, you're just relax now. You're here. Just put things away. And so like, tell me, like, for me, like, what's a recommendation? I've gotten everything pretty well organized, except I still have a stack of pictures underneath the breakfast bar that I just have not gotten the energy to deal with.
Well, you're still fresh. Give yourself some grace. Number one. Number two, maybe, depending on how many there are, maybe take them out of, are they in frames or out of frames?
They're in frames.
Yes. Oh gosh. Hold on. I'm going to have to go away and come right back. One moment.
You're frozen. All right. Well, that's okay. We'll continue.
Hold on one moment. Oh God. Oh, look at that picture. Oh my gosh. Leave.
Well, this is a great example of how life gets messy from time to time. We just have to go with the flow. But I can tell you one of the things that did help me was giving myself permission to have a junk drawer, one designated drawer in my kitchen that I can kind of stash things in, like tools and welcome back and things like that. And they're all that way. They're also contained in one place, and I know where they are. So that was helpful. All right, welcome back, Tina.
Hi, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Anyhow, what I was saying is, unless you're going to specifically use those frames and put them on the wall or put them on a table, go ahead and take them out of the frame and donate the frame. Number one, that's just going to help with space. And number two, eventually put it on your to-do list to digitize the photos, because they take up so much room. They really do.
That's a good tip. Yeah.
And I am not that organizer, but there are organizers who are photo managers, and they are amazing. And same with digital organizing. There are people that are digital organizers. I'm not one of them. I'm not techie at all. So, but I do love to help people move, and I do love to speak to groups and coach. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that it makes me feel less alone knowing that I'm not the only person in the world that
you're very, very normal is what you are.
You know, years ago when I was a teacher, I was so organized. I was on top of everything. I knew where everything was, where all the files were. I got all my paperwork done on time. I was always on top of everything. And then I'd come home and absolutely collapse. And my room would be a mess. I didn't make my bed mostly because I had to get up at 4 a.m. and be at work by 6. So that was just really low on my priority list. But
exactly.
But I used to say I felt like a split personality because
yeah. Well, and that's one of my tips. It's in my book is get up and make your bed first thing. It gives you that accomplishment. And when you walk back in there, it looks better and you're going to feel better.
That's a good tip, you know.
It really is.
Yeah. The like washing your dishes at night after dinner so that you don't get up to a dirty kitchen.
Yes. And what I do, and I don't mean that you have to do this, but it's just a little tip, is go ahead and run your dishwasher. And if you don't want to hear it, I don't know where it is in your house, you know, put it on a delay for 3 hours. It washes while you're asleep. When you wake up and you have that special cup that you want for work or that special cup you want to take to the gym or wherever you're going, it's ready to go and it's clean. Or if you have kiddos, same thing. It would be ready to grab to put in their lunch. So it's all about having these systems in your home.
That's a good one. I used to make, because I had to be at work so early when I was teaching, I would make my lunch the night before and put it in the refrigerator. Yeah.
Yes. And I really, I try to have people set out their clothes the night before as well, because that can be a difficult decision. And that may take longer than you anticipated. And then you're already behind that 8 ball and you're leaving late. And I'm trying to, you know, discourage people from being late to appointments, being late to work, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's nothing more frustrating than being on the road and then you know someone is late for work and they're trying to rush through and push everybody and weave in and out, and it's like an accident waiting to happen. And if you just left 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah. And then just in general, and this is another, in general, try to leave 5 minutes early.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people out there, maybe me, when I get nervous, I have to go to the bathroom. Well, then if I'm nervous because I'm going to be late, it makes me have to go to the bathroom, which makes me have to stop. And then I'm in a cycle of I'm already late, which is going to make me more stressed.
Right.
So it's kind of like a negative cycle. So I actually try to leave earlier than anticipated just to get ahead of that problem.
Oh, right. Exactly. You know, a little tiny bit of planning goes a long, long way.
It really does.
It really what this is.
And then having, you know, a place by your back door, wherever you're leaving, it could be your front door, but having those items right there ready to go. Mm-hmm. And it's extremely important to have those, you know, maybe it's even your shoes or your purse or your diaper bag or your whatever you need, your charger, your phone, so you can grab and go.
Right. Yeah. The teacher bag. Yeah.
Right. And you don't want to forget that or you're going to be turning around.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, that makes sense. That just makes the flow easier. And then you can relax because you've got everything ready to go in the morning and you just can relax in the evening and not be worried.
Right. And I mean, things are still going to come up. It's not like this is a foolproof plan, but planning is definitely going to go a long way.
Yeah, definitely. Like stopping for gas on the way home from work if you know you're low, so you're not having to do it in the morning.
That is so funny. My daughter sent me a text the other day, and it actually said, "Rookie mistake, had to get gas on the way to school." I was like, yep. And you only do that once, and then it'll take a while to do it again because you remember, crud, I just lost 10 more minutes.
Yeah. And then plus all the other people who didn't plan ahead and are stopping to get gas in the morning on the way to work. Yeah.
Right. It's just the little things. Just little things add up to big things.
That's true. It's
It
true
really
both
is.
ways. So when you change that negative cycle into a positive cycle, then it starts, you get the little things start adding up in a much more positive way. That's a really good way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I was telling you earlier is the surroundings in your home really matter to your mental health. And so one of my favorite analogies is, you walk into your kitchen and it's just a mess from the night before, just a disaster. You just didn't get to it. You were too tired. I get it. But when you walk in the next morning, how is that going to make you feel? You're going to be irritable. You're going to be agitated. You're going to be yelling at your kids. You're going to be just not your best you. Versus walking in, it may not be perfect, don't get me wrong. But, if it's on the whole cleaned up-ish from the night before, you have a fresh start. Mm-hmm. And so just two different kitchen views equals two different attitudes. And so we want the attitude of, okay, we're going to do this and the day is going to go well because we're going to start fresh.
I think that would apply to work too. I mean, if you have a job where you have to do a lot of paperwork, say, for example.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah. If you leave work and it's cleared up, you come in fresh in the morning and you don't have all this back work to tackle.
Yeah. And I think it may be in my book, or maybe I've spoken about this, but I always say, try to take the last 15 minutes of your work day and then look at what's going to happen tomorrow. Is there anything you can do looking at that calendar to prepare just a tiny little bit, and just to kind of know what's tomorrow going to be like? What meetings do you have? And it's just kind of a nice reset for the next day. So I really like taking that last little bit to prepare for the next day.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I think this is kind of like across the board. So how would you start then? I mean, like someone
baby steps.
What would you suggest, like some basic baby steps that would be because I found it's easier to get momentum going if you start with something really easy.
100%. You were so right. I have two quick tips. The first thing is use a timer. Go into your kitchen, set a timer, and set it for 10 minutes. Okay, you're not going to clean or organize your whole house in 10 minutes, but it's going to give you a chunk of time to get something done. You're going to start I don't even know. Let's just make it your junk drawer. And I bet there's going to be something in there that you can throw away. And start with the very easy things. An old packet of ketchup that's been in there for whatever, or a sticky penny. I mean, let's be real here. So get rid of what you can quickly. And then the second thing is when that timer goes off, you have completed your first goal. But if you're already doing it, give yourself another 10 minutes. It might be a snowball effect where you may get a little bit more done than you anticipated. So I really like that snowball effect.
Yes.
But if you don't, it's okay. And then start again tomorrow. Or another thing in, say, your bathroom vanity, just take 10 minutes again, set that timer, get rid of anything that's out of date, things you don't use anymore. These are taking up valuable spaces in your home that you can be using for what you do love, what you do use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or your bedside table that's piled high with books, maybe.
Maybe. Yes. So I mean, there are so many tips. I can't even do them all right now. But take care of you. Use self-care. And I know that that's such a a word that everyone uses right now, but it's true. How can you take care of your family if you're not taking care of yourself?
Yes. And I would think, especially being women and modeling for our kids,
Yes.
from a very young age, they can contribute to this from a very young age and learn it as a way of life rather than having to struggle with transitioning as an adult.
Exactly. It is very true. I love what you said there.
I used to do it with my kids. I would, I usually was about 20 minutes. If they were a little squirrely, maybe 30 minutes. But I made them clean the room because I'm like, you guys made the mess.
Yeah. It's great. It's so great to teach your kids at a young age that everything has a place.
Yes.
And then you're not going to be able to, you are going to be able to find things.
Yes.
And these are really good things to find.
Right. And then the room is clean in the morning when you come in, which is the same as the kitchen.
Exactly.
And it starts the day off fresh.
Yes. And then one more thing about appointments. If you make an appointment, a medical appointment, even if it's just your MD or your psychologist or your therapist, making it is only half the battle. Please show up for you. Show up for you. Because just making the appointment isn't going to do anything.
That sounds like the voice of experience.
Well, not necessarily. I actually go when I need to go, but I really feel like it's just so important to follow through with what you start.
No, I meant that as an RN, you probably dealt a lot with people not showing up.
Gotcha. Okay. Excellent. That's true too. Yeah. I worked many years.
That's something flew through my head. Now I lost it, but it's okay. So then, so we 10-minute baby step, and then you get on a roll. So when you accomplish that, then maybe the next, give yourself a break and then start.
Well, if you're still in the mood, do 10 more minutes. If not, yes, definitely take a break. You can either come back in an hour or come back the next day. You may want to blast your favorite music. You may want to use these small little tips, put on a smelly candle for productivity. It's just, I put a candle on tonight just so I could smell it. So it would be like a good thing, good boost for me. But yes, start with 10 minutes and then go from there.
Okay. So one of the things that I did as a teacher is I would take a big project, which feels overwhelming, and break it down. Say, today we're doing this little tiny piece.
Exactly. And then you're going to eventually, if you do one, that's why I said baby steps, because it's not going to all happen in this, 2-hour time frame. Even if you were revved up and your room is full, let's just say it's full, and I'm there helping you. And even the 2 people, it may not get done in 2 hours. So you just have to, I lost my train of thought there.
Chunking it into small manageable pieces.
So if you're going to work through, you're going to start in this bottom left corner, and you're going to move all the way around your room, and you're going to start seeing, I'm making progress. All the way around.
And it's okay to just do one thing. Like, say, for example, if I wanted to organize my bedroom, I might start by putting all the books that are on my nightstand, except for the one I'm reading, put them back.
Yes.
In the bookcase. And then just something that simple.
It's something that simple that's going to give you a feeling of accomplishment. So you're going to want to do more instead of feeling like a slug on the couch.
Which is way too easy to do.
Way too easy to scroll on your phone.
Right.
It is. So I just love what I do. And I really love helping people. Even though I'm not a nurse anymore, this is just a new way to help people.
Yeah. I think like back to the kitchen too, like maybe one cabinet at a time.
Oh, for sure.
Get a cabinet.
Yeah.
And
and do you need 4 or 5 9x13s. Do you really need them? No. When I moved this past time, I have one.
Yeah.
I really only need one.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
I
okay
got
to release. It's okay to let go, and then keep what you use and love.
Yes. Yes. When we just moved a couple months ago, and it was the rule was for clothes. My mom, I take care of my mom. She lives with me, and she's a clothes horse. And it's like I told her, if you haven't worn it the entire time, like the last 2 years, it goes away. And she we gave so many bags of clothes to Goodwill or whatever.
I know I feel like we're jumping all over the place. My brain is like, ooh, but if you're moving, please downsize on the front half.
Yeah.
Because why move the stuff that you don't love, that you don't use? It's going to cost manpower. It's going to cost poundage power. It's going to cost all this stuff. And then you get on the other side and you're like, why do I still have this?
Yes. And then
when you're on the front side.
Yes. Then you're unpacking, and it's more time and more energy when it's
exactly. And you want to be able to unpack, organize, and start living and decrease that transition time.
Oh yeah. I'm living proof, because
I love it.
We went down, I think, 2,400 pounds.
That is so
from
wonderful.
The previous move. And it was what a difference. Just the time.
And it's just, I think I had told you earlier, we had a house fire and had to get rid of, not everything, but we lost a lot. But then we lived temporarily in an apartment that was furnished. And we're talking bare bones, simple. And it was like, I don't even really need all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your mindset. It's like the people that move into a camper or an RV. It's like, what do you really need? Exactly. You really need a refrigerator and a bathroom and a shower. and so you really need to evaluate, why you're keeping an entire closet full of 25 blankets, and I'm all about blankets. I'm not saying don't, get rid of all your blankets, but, really, look at what you have and decide, do you really need that many?
Yes. Blankets and towels I donated to Pet Rescue.
Yes. And that's awesome.
And even now, I'm still like, I got rid of so much and I still have too much, except for the blankets.
And I say that every move, because I really try to take my own advice, and then I'll get somewhere and I'm like, oh gosh, why do I still have this?
Yes. I saved things that when I looked at them, they like things that like I have Afghan on my bed that my grandmother made me. Right. That is something that's irreplaceable and I'd never give it up, but I love it. And when I look at it, I think of her.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. So, but then the junkie blanket that was ripped, that could go to the Pet Rescue.
Yeah, exactly. Keep the ones that you love. And that's, and I think that if you interviewed any organizer on the planet, they would say that. And we are not there to judge. We're there to help you.
Yes. Yes.
And we're humans. Everyone's like, oh, you're an organizer. Your house must be perfect. My house is okay, but my house is definitely not perfect. No.
You know what? Perfection is an actual block.
It's a lie.
It's a lie. It's a block. I talk with writers a lot about writer's block. Mm-hmm. And the idea that your book is going to be perfect is an illusion. It's never perfect because tomorrow you're going to think about something else and you'll never be done.
My book's been out a year and I think of things all the time. I'm like, oh, that would have been a really good example of blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know what?
Always write a second book.
We'll see. But, I tell people, I get mail. Mail is a huge problem for people.
Yeah.
Mail is a very large problem. Paper, clutter, and it can take over tables, bars, all the places. So try to stay on top of that, because not making a decision is making a decision. So Think of that.
That's a good point.
It
And
really
then
is.
the next week the pile grows. And
Yeah.
then you think,
Because you haven't decided and you're going to have more incoming every day.
Right.
So yeah, it's a really big problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then plus, you need a shredder or you need some kind of way to protect yourself from,
of course,
but wow, this has been a really interesting conversation.
Oh, yay.
Thank you so
really
much.
Fun. It's been really fun. Thank you so much for having me.
So how can people reach out to you?
So my personal website is tinahazen.com, and that is primarily for my speaking services and coaching services. ThinkInsideTheBoxx.com is primarily for my organizing services. The QR code is for my book. It's going to take you to Amazon if you are interested. Very easy read. I have ADHD, so it's not going to be a novel. Just little tips. But you can find me on Instagram, Think Inside Boxx, BOXX, and on LinkedIn, Tina Jones Hazen.
And did you tell me that you have a little giveaway on your website?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. On tinahazen.com, there is a way to download I have 18 organizing tips in my book, and there is a download for 4 of the tips.
All right. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on
It's
today.
been so much fun. Thank you so much.
I'm going to go clean out that junk drawer now.
That's right. Get to it.
All right, everybody. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Kids Corner. Hey, everybody. Hey, we're going to have some Halloween fun now that it's October. And I thought it would be really fun this is a treat. This isn't the healthiest of treats, although you can change the recipes to make it a little bit healthier. But this is a really fun family night, Halloween night, or Halloween party type of activity that I wanted to share with you. So we're going to learn how to make graveyard dirt. I have done this with kids and they just really enjoy it. So very easy, the ingredients, the easy way. You just want to the easy way is to get a mix, a brownie or a chocolate cake mix. They can be gluten-free or anything you want, or you can make your cake or brownies from scratch with your favorite recipe. Crushed chocolate sandwich cookies of your choice. Gummy bugs and worms. Got to have those in a graveyard, right? I like the rounded edge vanilla or chocolate wafer cookies for the tombstones. They sit real well in the graveyard dirt. And then small tubes of cake decorator icing. You can get them in a bunch of different colors. They're easy. They're small enough for the kids to squeeze, or you can get an edible marker. Optional, if you make pudding, the kids can layer, and then there's gooiness in the graveyard, which is kind of creepy and fun, but it's also a tasty treat for them. And also you can, for the top, for the decorating, if you want to get candy corn or sprinkles or things like, those little pumpkins, you can get things like that for the top. All right. So here are some examples that I thought would be fun. The one on the left, the individual cup. Those are great if you have a lot of kids over or you're having a party, because every kid can make their own. They can layer it any way they want, and they can decorate it any way they want. That makes it a really fun and individual project for them. And you can see the pudding layers in there. The middle one has the white chocolate skeleton, which is a little bit more of a task that the parents might have to make ahead. Or if you have older kids, you might want to tackle something like that. And the one on the right, you can see the little tombstones. And they wrote RIP on these, but you could write anything you want on the tombstones. All right, some tips. You can make the big pan. That's probably easier if you're having a family night. Little individual cups are probably better if you have a lot of kids or a party. If you have very young children, you might want to bake the cake or brownies ahead of time so they're cool enough to handle when it comes time to layer the dirt and the pudding and the gummies and all that kind of thing. We'll see you next time.
We are Mutts and Meows Rescue, a 501c3 nonprofit, foster-based, no-kill group. Mutts and Meows Rescue pulls dogs and cats from surrounding shelters in the greater Houston area. We even pick up dogs and cats abandoned on the streets. Mutts and Meows Rescue is foster-based and rely on your donations to keep rescuing. To know more about us is to know more about our furry friends and help them find their forever homes. Come visit us at Mutts and Meows Rescue on Facebook today and decide how you can make a difference.
Welcome back to Chronically Healthy Life. So how do you like Tina's interview?
I think she gave a lot of great tips. It was like I was having totally a Mary Kondo moment, listening to all her tips on there. And the thing that was really interesting, she was talking about the pileup of all the mail. I'm sort of guilty of that. I admit that, but I sort of just get it off my desk. So it's not on my desk, it's on my shelf. And there's probably a few things I probably need to get back into. But we don't get too much mail here since we moved to Texas. So
No.
I know it's not all that important.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I put them in a pile and then consolidate three different piles into one pile, and then put a pile into a bag, and then put a bag in a box. You know how that goes. Eventually, you just go away.
But yes, I can totally see how she talks about how certain things can affect how you think. There's a lot of sentimental value into a lot of things. But then sometimes it's just good to let things go too, right?
For sure. You have to let old things go so that new things can come.
Exactly.
So what's going to happen next week?
So next week, we are going to be away in Dallas for a convention to learn more technology on how to improve your longevity, how to boost your stem cells, how to live longer. So we will have a replay of one of probably an episode that our viewers like most, and that is one done by Diana.
Diana.
Yes.
Great. So we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yes.
And join us back here on Friday at 7 p.m. CST. You can watch past episodes at watch.e360tv.com, in the Vitality TV network, on our YouTube channel at chronicallyhealthylife.com. And if you'd like to know more about what we do and how we can help you live a chronically healthy life, visit us on our website at chronicallyhealthylife.com.
And you can always scan the QR code and set up an appointment with us if you want to have a free consult. But we'd love to hear all your comments, questions, or suggestions about our show. You can comment directly right on our Facebook page, Chronically Healthy Life, or email us at anything@chronicallyhealthylife.com. We'll see you in 2 weeks.